Mr. Gore Vidal is here tonight, and Gore is one of the most literate writers and one of the most perceptive wits that I know. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Gore Vidal? Follow.
I feel such an air of depression as I entered after all that excitement. Nobody told me that you wanted me to bring my lizard because it's on short notice, and my lizard has his own television program.
That's right.
It's called Firing Line.
Firing? You're starting already.
Starting already right from the top. Gosh, they're alarming, those animals.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you, first of all. Joanna and I were in Italy this summer, and you were one of the best guides we've ever had in Rome and Ravenna. We had a great time.
Well, thank you.
Thanks a great deal to your knowledge and years you spent there. We enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, you got very high marks as guests.
Yeah.
Both you and Joanna, my heavens. He was up at dawn with a blue guide looking at ruins.
We were.
That's after he got tired of looking at us in the house. He would go out and look at Pompeii.
No, it was a wonderful time, wonderful time. You mentioned depression. It very often happens during holiday seasons, and psychologists say, or psychiatrists, people should not feel guilty getting depressed around Christmas time. Lots of people do.
Oh, I think it's quite, yes. You remember Christmas past, Christmas future, as Charles Dickens would point out, is pretty grim. Yeah, I think there's an awful lot of suicides around Christmas time, probably. Much more, I think, around April, when the taxes are due. I think that's the time that I slash my wrists.
Just for the fun of it, I put down a list of names. And if it were in your power as Santa Claus this year to bring certain people certain things, I'm just going to throw you a name, and if you don't have anything for them, what would you bring, for example, the First Lady, Nancy Reagan?
Nancy Reagan. I almost said it like Ron. Nancy. Nancy's been a good girl this year. I'm going to give her Versailles. The whole palace. She can paint it red. You know, Nancy's red. And, of course, she has the Marie Antoinette Award for the year as well. Okay. That would be my gift for Nancy.
How about Jerry Brown?
Jerry Brown.
Governor of California. Governor of California.
An interesting book called It's a Long Way to Mount Rushmore, which is the Harold Stassen story. Revisited. I think he should study that.
How about Muammar Gaddafi of Libya?
Gaddafi. Not wishing him well at the Yuletide season, I would give him the CIA. They cost us $10 billion a year. They are absolutely, whatever they touch is a mess. They're too expensive. I'd like Gaddafi to own the CIA. Just take Langley and send it to him. First, they will bankrupt Libya. Secondly, they will probably overthrow him. And they'll be off our backs. So we'll have $8 billion.
Let him try to figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
You are in the Yuletide spirit, aren't you?
Oh, I'm just...
How about Alexander Haig?
Alexander Haig, I have listened to, or tried to listen to now, ever since he's been Secretary of State. Since I have not understood a word that he has said, I am sending him to Berlitz to learn English. After that, we will know what's really there or not.
They call it, is it Haigese or Haigisms that they have coined now? I guess the syntax does get a little...
Well, it's beyond English. It's beyond Eisenhower, because Eisenhower at least was deliberately misleading, you know, and he always had a plan, but this man just seems, and he looks at you, you know, and it begins that stare. I get
prioritize. Want to prioritize things.
Prioritize, yeah, and rushes into the room. I wouldn't like to be George Bush if anything, heaven help us, should ever happen to Ron. George Bush might find a little shoot-up in the Oval Office as Alexander the Great strides forward to his destiny.
How about, let's take somebody out of politics. Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields? I'd give the kid a dress.
Get her out of those jeans. Yeah. I saw you on a show one night. It was on, I don't know where it was done from. The fellow was rather perceptive with an interview. And it was a long show, and I enjoyed it. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was on
CBS channel, something called Signature. It's cable television.
Yeah, a good show. And he was discussing your possible entry into the race for Senator of California. And he kept saying, now, Gore, are you really serious? Now, I know you fairly well. We've spent a little time together. Are you serious, or are you just trying to create a little holiday diversion for people and make it interesting, or what?
Well, I think I'm very serious about the difference between Jerry Brown and me is that he's interested in elections, and I'm interested in politics. And in bad times, I mean, this is his art form, is running for office. That's why I recommended the Harold Stassen story.
Yes.
He just runs all the time. You sort of see Jerry must hang in a closet in a blue suit. They take him out in the morning. Hi, I'm Jerry Brown. I'm running for president or governor or senator. I don't suppose this is good for character. I don't think he gets a chance to think much. So I've been going around the state talking about issues, talking about the real subjects like why it is that we're always at war with somebody. Where did this enemy of the week come from? It's Nicaragua this week. It was Salvador the week before. We were going to overthrow Gaddafi at one point, and the CIA said, no, it wasn't Libya, it was Mauritania. And the Mauritanians then got on the phone, why are you trying to overthrow us, you know? Where does this come from? And it comes from something very simple that you saw in Reagan's budget. He said over the next 5 years, we're going to spend $1.5 trillion on defense.
That's 1,000 billion, right?
That's 1,000 billion. It is more money. Now, where's the war? Who's the enemy? They have to keep looking around, so they talk about the vulnerability window. I love that. Even Reagan broke himself up on that one. He was giving one of his interviews, and he said, well, I mean, the Russians are ahead of us here and there, and then there's this vulnerability window, and even he broke up on it and started to chuckle at his own cue cards.
The window of vulnerability.
Anyway, I would like to see the money that goes to defense. We have quite enough. We are way ahead of the Russians in most things. I'd like to see at least half of that budget go domestically toward education, toward maintaining the cities, toward people, and forget this war against everybody.
It never seems to happen, does it? No, you say things. Yeah. And you know as well as I do, if you bring that argument up with political figures, they will say, but you see, if we are not equipped and if we don't have the MX missile system, our missiles are vulnerable and we would not survive a first strike. Now, you don't want us to be second best, do you? That's the stock answer.
Well, they do that, and then they come up with something like the AWACS deal. Everybody was very worried, is this anti-Israel or pro-Israel or pro-Arab, or is this going to help us in the oil fields? There was one reason for that, $8.5 billion to Boeing. It was very, very simple. This was just a transfer of money.
Yeah.
And it is not for our defense. Any time a politician tells you the Russians are coming, just hang on to your wallet, because it means there's another raid on the Treasury.
We'll be right back. We are back, and I wish we had... You're going to be here now for a few weeks, over the holidays?
I'm here over the holidays and indefinitely.
I hope you'll come back with us soon when we have a little more time and get into some of these things, because I really want to find out if you're really going to run. I'm humbled by that applause.